Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Venus and today I am going over all the books that I want to read in the month of April. I am so excited to talk about all the books that I plan to read in April because I am participating in the Old School April readathon that was created by Kelsi from Slime and Slashers. I absolutely love her channel. I am so excited for this readathon. It is all things like 70s, 80s, 90s, nostalgia, horror, slashers, movies. It's a readathon, a watchathon. There's a Discord. I mean, it's all the things, and I cannot wait to start the readathon. So I have a lot of books that I want to read. Will I get through all of them? Probably not, but I am excited to talk about them. First, I'm going to start with a few books that I'm carrying over from March, and then some NetGalley books that I would like to also make sure that I get finished, and then we will go into all of the books that I want to read for the Old School April readathon. Feel free to skip around. I'm also going to talk about movies that I want to watch as well, so this might be a long video. So grab a snack, a beverage, and get comfortable, and let's talk about these books. So first up, I am still making my way through my reread of A Song of Ice and Fire, and I'm still on A Clash of Kings. I'm at about page 233. I'm reading it nice and slow. I'm taking my time. I'm enjoying being back in Westeros, and I hope to have this finished in April, and then I'll just move right along to the next book. So this is one book that I am hoping to get finished in April. Another book that I am currently reading is called Romantic Comedy, and it is by Curtis Sittenfeld. This is my first time reading any books by this author. This is a NetGalley arc that I received, and it comes out on April 4th, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 30% through, and so far it's actually pretty entertaining. This book is about Sally. She is a comedic writer for a show called The Night Owls, which is basically Saturday Night Live. The book basically goes through the process of what it's like to have an artist, whether it's a musician or an actor, come on the show, and you start with I don't remember, I think it's Monday. You start with Monday, and then you go through the week up until the night of the show, which is Saturday night. And it's really, so I'll say this, I personally don't watch Saturday Night Live unless there is a artist that I really want to see, and then I'll only just watch it the next day by clips. It's not a show that I stay up to watch. So this book goes into a lot of detail about what it's like behind the scenes in the show. It goes, like I said, through the schedule, the writing process, all of the sketches, how they come up with it. It's a lot of that. And then it incorporates the story with Sally and her background. And then there's an artist named Noah. He's like a pop artist who comes on the show. So far I'm assuming he's going to be the love interest. And it's really good so far. It's called Romantic Comedy, but I haven't really laughed too much. It's not really funny. I think I maybe laughed like once or twice. But so far so good. I haven't DNF'd it, so that's a plus. So I'm hoping to finish that at some point this month, and then those are really the only books outside of everything I'm going to talk about for Old School April. I am so excited. So this readathon was created by Kelsi from Slime and Slashers. I'm going to post all of the information down below. It's a readathon, it's a watchathon, there's a Discord, there's going to be like, I think a slumber party at the end. All kinds of events are happening. Sprints, there's Instagram prompts. It's a whole production, and I'm so excited. And it's just nothing but 80s, 90s, early 2003 and before nostalgia, horror, and all the things. And I am so excited. So there's a bunch of hosts. I'll also link all of their channels below as well. There are teams, and it's based off of the show on Nickelodeon. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what the show is called. So the theme is based on the show Legends of the Hidden Temple that used to air on Nickelodeon in the 90s. I don't remember the show for some reason, and I think it might have been because at that point I was like in high school and mostly only watching MTV. I didn't really watch a lot of Nickelodeon at that time, so I'm assuming that's why I have seen videos of it, and I kind of remember it, but it's definitely not a show that I watched. But I love that she based all the teams on this, and there's, oh, I can't remember all the teams' names. All I know is that I am on Purple Parrots, and that's all that matters. So when you read these prompts, you collect like points and your team gets credit for it. It's a whole thing, and it's amazing, and I'm super excited to participate. So let me tell you, first we're going to talk about all the books that I'm hoping to read for all of these prompts. So let's jump in. First prompt is read a Goosebumps or a book that fits the vibe of an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. So I don't think I've ever actually read a Goosebumps book. And again, I think it's just because when they came out, it was like in the 90s when I was in high school, and I was like not reading those kind of books. But my kids read a lot of them. So I'm actually really, really excited to read them. And I purchased this cute little tin of the I think it's the very first 5 books. There's a million of them, and there's different, I don't know, different like themes for all. I have no idea how it's structured, but I'm assuming that that's what it said. That's what Amazon said. These are the first 5 books in the series. So we'll show you what's in here. So I have Night of the Living Dummy and Welcome to Horrorland. I think I have a shirt with this on it. The Haunted Mask and Welcome to Dead House and Say Cheese and Die. Will I read all of these? I have no idea. Probably not, but I think the one that I'm definitely going to read is Welcome to Dead House. And I keep hearing about the Haunted Mask, so I'll probably read that one as well. The next prompt is read any 80s horror book or an 80s young adult or a middle grade book. For this prompt, I chose the Cotton Candy Massacre. This is a slasher that is set in the 80s. I cannot wait to read this. Christina from Christina Brown's channel, she talked about this slasher in one of her recent wrap-ups, and it's about clowns, and she loved it. So I can't wait to read it. It says, the book you're about to read is an account of the tragedy that occurred at the reopening of Bonkin's Bonanza one day in the summer of 1989. Some came looking for fun, like Candy Barton and her best friend Lee. Others, like Rocky Rhodes and Sully Sullivan, came looking for a second chance. Instead, they would find a twisted, funfetti nightmare. And this book is by Christopher Robertson, and I loved the back. It has like really cool pictures. But so I'm excited. I love me a good slasher, so I can't wait to read this. The next book is to read an animal attack book, and I'm reading The Nest. This is a paperback from hell. This is by Gregory, oh gosh, I can't talk today. This is by Gregory Douglas. Okay. First, I did look it up to see if insects were considered animals, and according to Google, they are considered animals. But regardless, these prompts are very fluid. You can create your, own boundaries. Nobody's like checking behind you. But I'm absolutely terrified of roaches. This is about a roach situation. And I'm probably going to be, seeing like phantom roaches all over the place and itching crazy when I'm reading this book. But we'll see how this goes. But I'm excited to check out this book. It's going to be my very first paperback from hell book as well. And I'm excited to check this out. Another option I was also thinking about for this prompt is Cujo, because I am on my journey to read a Stephen King book either every month or every other month. So I haven't read Cujo in probably 20 years. So might read that as well, or maybe listen to the audiobook. We will see. The next book, and I'm looking down in front of me because I have my iPad set up in front of me, but it is to read a book with old technology on the cover or in a story. And for this prompt, I chose Video Night by Adam Cesare, and he's the author of Clown in a Cornfield, which I had a great time. That was a slasher, and I'm excited to read this book. So a little synopsis about it is, it says, who knows more about fighting a monster invasion than a group of teenage horror fans? Billy Ryle is smart, adept at Nintendo, and has a killer hi-fi setup. Life is good, but he has no idea that an alien life form has infected his town, a creature that overtakes and transforms its host. It could be inside anyone, a classmate, a pizza delivery man, even the girl next door. When Billy's weekly movie night is crashed by this otherworldly menace, he and his best friend and their dates will have to summon their courage and call upon all their horror movie knowledge if they're going to make it through a video night alive. That sounds so fun. I can't wait to read that book. That sounds fun. Next prompt is to mood read a book from 2003 or earlier, or set before 2003. And for this prompt, I am going to read Silence of the Lambs. That is one of my all-time favorite books. Haven't read it in probably 20 years. And I can't wait to read that one. I might go ahead and read the others. Hannibal. And was it Dragon? Red Dragon? Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, Red Dragon. I'm actually going to read this out of order because I want to read Silence of the Lambs. Red Dragon is actually the first book. Then it's Silence of the Lambs, and then it's Hannibal, and these are all by Thomas Harris. Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter. I can't wait to read that. Reread it. Next prompt is to read a Fear Street or a Point Horror or a Christopher Pike book. And if you watch my February wrap-up, you will see that I did not have a good time reading my first Christopher Pike book. Yes, I read The Midnight Library and I was severely disappointed, and I'm going to give him another try. I have plans to read Monster, I think it's called, by him. I have no idea what it's about. I'm not even going to read the back because the last time I read Midnight Library, I read the back of the book, I had my expectations very high, and then I read it and it was super disappointing. So I'm just going to go into this book blind and hope for the best. But that's one of my plans. If I end up DNFing that, hopefully I won't, but if I do, I have a backup, and that is a point horror book, and that is called April Fools by Richie Tankersley-Cusick, and this is Alex's from Bookybus channel. Her host choice or host pick, I think, or she at least mentioned it on her video, and I don't know anything about this either. And this is also going to be my first point horror book. And this says, driving back from a party on April 1st, Belinda, Frank, and Hildy are involved in a gruesome accident. The people in the other car could never have survived the crash. So Frank insists that they scarper? Okay. After all, it wasn't really their fault. 2 weeks later, Belinda is the only one who still feels guilty about the accident. Then pranks start and her nightmare really begins. Someone must have witnessed or survived the crash, and they're going to make Belinda suffer for what happened. April Fool's Day is over, but these jokes are for real. So, sounds interesting. The next prompt is to read a book featuring witches, magic, or cursed objects. And for that prompt, I have chosen The Amulet by Michael McDowell. I don't know anything about this other than I'm assuming this amulet is a cursed object and there's a lot of kills. I think it's a slasher. I actually don't want to know too much more than that for this book. So this is my choice for that prompt. The next prompt is to read any 90s horror book or 90s young adult or middle grade book, and I chose The Cipher by Kathy Koja. This is another Christina Brown recommendation. She loved this book. I think she gave it 5 stars, and I'm very interested to see if I like this or not. From what I understand, it's about 2 artists that are living together, a couple, and their relationship seems to be a little tumultuous or strange. And in this, I don't know if it's an apartment complex or house or wherever they live, there's this mysterious hole that they start sending things into. And then creepy, crazy stuff happens after that. I have no idea what direction this book is going to go into, so we will see, but I'm very excited to read this book and see how it goes. The next prompt is a book written by a female author or a book with a woman protagonist. And for this prompt, I chose Mary, An Awakening of Terror by Nat Cassidy. And I can't wait to read this. I heard a lot about this book last year. Some people really, really loved it. Some people absolutely hated it. I think I have a feeling I'm going to like it because it was the same kind of vibe I was getting from Mother Thing, where a lot of people hated it and a lot of people really liked it, but I loved it. I don't know if that makes me twisted, but I actually really love that book. So I can't wait to check this out. I don't know too much about it except for I think Mary is like either going through menopause or is having some kind of midlife crisis, and then I think it gets really dark from there. I actually don't want to know too much about this, but I am really excited to finally check this book out. Another book that I actually might read for this prompt too, this is a reread, my favorite Grady Hendrix book, and that is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I loved this book so much, and I've been wanting to reread it. This fits this prompt as well as the 90s horror prompt too, so get like double points for this book. So I think I might actually reread this as well for that prompt one and the other prompt. Those are all of the main prompts, and then there is a bonus one, and the bonus one is our bonus or replacement, and that is if you don't like a prompt on the board, you can replace any square with this prompt: read a book with neon on the cover. So if I decide to be extra, because I don't think I need to replace any prompts, I might read this for the neon cover, and that book is Mallrats, and it's a slasher, and it's by Ivy Tholen, and this cover looks so fun. It's 90s, it takes place in a mall, and it's a slasher, and I'm excited. I think this is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm trying my best not to buy this book just because of the cover, because the colors and the shopping bags, it just looks so cool. I'm trying not to buy it, so I'm going to read it on Kindle Unlimited first, and then if I love it, I'm going to buy it. So that's the potential. So I have my iPad with me because I want to run through the Watchathon prompts, and I'm going to try to go through them quickly because I feel like this video is going to be so long already. So the first prompt is watch a Goosebumps episode. So I'm just going to pick a random episode. I actually am going to let my daughter pick the Goosebumps episode. She's actually going to participate in this portion of Old School April with me. She doesn't read a lot of books, although she is currently reading her very first Stephen King book, Misery, and telling me all about it because she's so excited. She's gonna participate in the Watchathon with me. She's got like this old school vibe. She loves the 80s and obsessed with the Scream franchise, and she's just like a pretty cool kid. I'll let her choose that episode. The next prompt is watch any 80s horror movie. So I was thinking about this vampire movie that I was obsessed with when I was younger, and I remember it had one of the actors from Weird Science, which is an 80s movie, and he was Robert Downey Jr.'s like sidekick in that movie. And I'm like trying to find it, and I finally found it, and it's called Vamp, and it's from 1986, and it's like the corniest vampire movie. It's got Grace Jones in it. I think she's a vampire. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm going to be rewatching that. Some of my other options: Children of the Corn, Cat's Eye, Fright Night, and Poltergeist. So those are my other options for that prompt. And then the next prompt is watch any Nickelodeon episode or movie. And for this one, I am going to watch Double Dare. I used to love that show. I wanted to be on that show so bad. So I'm going to rewatch an episode of that. And Ren and Stimpy. I loved that cartoon. Good times. Can't wait to watch that. Next prompt is watch a movie / show set in the 80s or 90s, or a new adaptation of an old school movie, show, or book. For this prompt, I have a couple options. I have Weird Science, Less Than Zero, and Weekend at Bernie's. When I tell you I watch Weekend at Bernie's a million times, it's pretty accurate. I've seen that movie so many times. It's been a very long time, so I hope I like it as much. My daughter's probably gonna cringe through the entire thing, but she's just gotta watch it. It has to happen. So those are the options for that prompt. Next prompt is mood watch from 2003 or earlier, or set in 2003 or earlier. So my options for this are Legend with Tom Cruise. God, I love that movie so much. So nostalgic. Secret of Nim, and Alien, which I did not realize Alien was from 1979. Wow. The next prompt is watch a Disney Channel original movie or Disney episode from 2003 or earlier. And I plan on watching a Mickey Mouse Club episode with, like JC or Justin Timberlake or Christina Aguilera. One of those episodes from back in the day, and probably listening to a CD that I used to have on repeat, which was the MMC album that had JC on it. Very interested to see if that stands the test of time. We shall see. The next prompt is watch any 80s movie or TV show, and I have quite a few for this one as well. E.T., haven't seen it in probably 30 years. Pretty in Pink, Coming to America, Golden Child, which is another movie I for some reason watched so many times when I was younger, and The Never-Ending Story. And the next prompt is watch any 90s horror movie. So because I'm reading Silence of the Lambs, I plan on watching that as well. And then Misery, because my daughter is currently reading that book. So we're going to check those out. And then the last prompt is watch any 90s movie or TV show. So some options for this is Good Will Hunting. My husband has actually never seen it, so I plan on watching that with him. Friday for a good laugh, because I haven't seen that in forever. Seven, which could also be for the horror prompt as well. Gosh, I've seen that movie a million times too. Love Jones, which was a great romance from the 90s, and New Jack City, which, haven't seen that in forever. So trying to put a little diversity into the mix, and that is it for all of the Watchathon prompts. I think there's some bonus prompts I'm missing. There are a bunch of bonus prompts as well that I am not going to spend time on going through because there's so many. So if you guys are interested in checking out this fantastic readathon, please check out the links below. I plan on having a ball. I might vlog this month as well, just because I haven't done a vlog in forever, and I feel like this would be a perfect, fun time to get back into vlogging. All right, that is it. So you'll notice the only really fantasy book that I plan on reading this month is Clash of Kings. I need a little bit of a break. I just have been really craving horror, so this readathon came around at a perfect time. For some reason, my brain is just not absorbing fantasy right now the way that it has been for so many months. And this happens. I'll go through fantasy phase and then horror. Those are my top two favorite genres, and then sometimes I'll read a little bit more romance, but that's what my channel is about. I read a variety of genres. I don't typically tend to stick to one genre. It's just kind of the mood that I'm in. April is definitely horror, and I hope you will stick around for the ride. So those are all of the books, all of them, so many of them, that I try to hope to get to this month. So excited to participate in this readathon. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and spending time with me. If you are new here, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys again soon. See ya.